The gym fell silent the moment the kick connected. A sharp thud echoed through the air, leather on skin, followed by the sound of laughter that wasn't funny at all. "Come on, new girl," sneered Haley, the blonde captain of the school's self-defense club. "You gonna cry already?" All eyes turned toward the newcomer. A tall, dark-skinned girl with braids that brushed her shoulders, her breathing calm despite the red mark blooming on her cheek. Her name was Amara King. It was her first day at Ridgeway High, and she hadn't even spoken a word yet. Haley stepped closer, smirking, hands raised like she was in a boxing match. "What's wrong, tough girl? Thought you'd fit right in?" Amara didn't move. Her gaze didn't flinch. And that silence, that stillness, made everyone uneasy. Haley lunged forward, aiming a knee straight for Amara's face. The kind of move meant to humiliate, not hurt, but in a single breath, everything changed. Amara's hand shot up, caught the attack midair, and before anyone could blink, she twisted, pivoted, and dropped Haley flat onto the mat with the precision of a professional fighter. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "What the hell was that?" The silence after the fall was heavier than the sound of the impact. Haley lay on the mat, clutching her shoulder, her once smug grin wiped clean. The entire gym, students, coaches, even the janitor mopping near the door, stood frozen. No one had ever seen Haley lose. Coach Miller rushed forward, disbelief written all over his face. "Amara!" "What was that?" Amara didn't answer. She simply helped Haley up, her movements steady and calm. "It was self-defense, sir," she said softly, eyes downcast. "She came at me first." The coach hesitated, torn between shock and protocol, then nodded. "Everyone out! Now!" Within seconds, the gym buzzed with whispers. She flipped her like a pro. "Did you see her stance? Who even is that girl?" By lunchtime, Amara's name had already spread across every hallway and group chat. Some students were impressed, others threatened, and Haley, the school's untouchable queen, was humiliated beyond repair. She sat in the nurse's office, ice pack pressed against her pride more than her bruise. "She's not normal," Haley muttered to her friends. "Nobody moves like that unless they've been trained." She was right. That evening, when Amara walked home through the quiet streets of Eastbrook, the shadows seemed to whisper memories she'd spent years trying to silence. The rhythm of her footsteps matched the echo of a distant drum, the one her father used to beat in their small gym in Bangkok. "Keep your guard up, princess," his voice echoed in her mind. "The world doesn't care how kind you are, only how hard you hit back." Her father had trained Muay Thai champions before she could even ride a bike. And when war broke out back home, that gym, once filled with laughter and the sound of pads, became a refuge for survivors, until it wasn't. Amara tightened her backpack straps, shaking the memory away. That life was gone. Her father was gone. Ridgeway High was supposed to be her new start. A place where no one knew her past. But fate had other plans. The next morning, the principal called her into the office. Haley sat there too, her arm in a sling, her eyes burning with quiet revenge. Beside them stood her mother, a woman with diamond earrings, power in her posture, and money in her tone. "I think we need to talk about violence on school grounds," she said coldly. Amara's heart didn't race, not even a little. She simply looked up, her expression unreadable, her hands resting on her knees like a fighter between rounds. Inside her, something old had begun to stir again, something she'd promised never to wake. The principal's office smelled faintly of lemon polish and tension. Amara sat across from the mahogany desk, hands folded, her expression calm. Too calm for a girl being accused of assault. Principal Hayes, a man who prided himself on fairness, shifted uncomfortably. He had seen school fights before. Broken noses, bruised egos, but never a move like that. "Miss Amara," he began carefully, "I've reviewed the footage from the gym. You didn't just defend yourself. You executed a maneuver." Haley's mother, Mrs. Langford, leaned forward, lips tight. "A maneuver? That girl attacked my daughter like some kind of trained fighter." Haley sniffled dramatically beside her. "She could have broken my neck." Amara lifted her gaze. Dark, steady, unflinching. "With respect, ma'am, your daughter tried to knee me in the face." The room went still. Principal Hayes cleared his throat. "That may be true, but we need to understand why. This isn't just about fighting. This is about behavior, respect. It's about control." Mrs. Langford interrupted sharply. She turned to Amara, eyes narrowing. "Girls like you think you can walk into our schools, our neighborhoods, and act like the rules don't apply?" For the first time, a flicker of something sharp crossed Amara's expression. Not fear, not guilt, restraint. "Ma'am," she said quietly, "where I come from, rules mean survival." The words hung in the air like smoke. That afternoon, whispers followed her everywhere. By the lockers, in the cafeteria, even in the girls' bathroom stalls. Voices carried through tiled walls. "She's dangerous. My brother said she broke a boy's arm back in Thailand. I heard she was in jail before moving. Here, every rumor cut deeper than the last, not because they hurt, but because they were close." That night, Amara stood alone in her small apartment. The walls were bare, except for one photo. A man with warm eyes and a fighter's grin, wrapping her hands in tape. "Never fight angry," he used to say. "Fight clear." She closed her eyes, feeling the rough fabric against her knuckles, the same way he used to teach her. Patience, balance, control. But the memory was bittersweet, because it ended the same way every time, with sirens, with fire, with her father never coming home. The next morning, Ridgeway High was buzzing. A video from the fight had gone viral overnight, posted by someone in the crowd. Hundreds of comments flooded in. "Yo, that black girl's a beast. She legit dropped the school bully in one hit? Who is she?" By the time Amara reached her locker, students stepped aside. Not out of respect, but curiosity. Haley, flanked by her usual entourage, walked by with her arm still in a sling. She smiled sweetly, venom hiding behind her perfect teeth. "Nice fame, champ," she sneered. "Too bad it's going to cost you your scholarship." Amara didn't respond. She simply closed her locker and walked past. But Haley wasn't done. "Hey," she called out. "You think people here will ever see you as more than just the new black girl?" The hallway went silent. Amara stopped, turned. Her eyes met Haley's, and in that quiet second, there was no fear, only focus. "People see what they want," she said softly. "I just make sure they never forget it." Then she walked away, leaving Haley speechless. That evening, Coach Miller found Amara in the gym, training alone. The rhythmic thud-thud of her kicks against the bag echoed through the empty room like a heartbeat. "You know," he said, stepping in, "you've got form. Discipline. Not something you learn from YouTube." Amara kept her stance, sweat glistening down her jaw. "My dad taught me," he raised an eyebrow. "Military?" She shook her head. "Muay Thai. He was a national champion." The coach whistled softly. "Well, that explains it. Look, I don't know what's going on between you and Haley, but you can't let this blow up. The board's already talking suspension. I didn't start it." "Doesn't matter," he sighed. "In this town, the story that spreads first wins." She looked at him then, finally lowering her guard. "You ever been punished for surviving, coach?" He blinked, caught off guard by the weight of the question. Amara turned back to the bag. Thud, thud, thud. Each kick sharper, harder, more precise. "She called me a stray," Amara said, voice trembling under control. "Said girls like me don't belong in Ridgeway." Coach Miller's jaw tightened. "And what did you say?" Amara's foot struck the bag one last time, the sound cracking through the gym. "I didn't. I showed her." But outside the gym, Haley had been watching, her phone recording the entire thing. By morning, a new video circulated online. Amara admits attacking Haley. "I showed her." The damage was done. The comments shifted. Now she wasn't a hero. She was a threat. When Principal Hayes called her into his office again, Amara already knew. "I'm sorry, Amara," he said gently. "Until the investigation clears, you're suspended." She didn't flinch. She just nodded. "Okay." As she walked out, Haley stood by the lockers, pretending to look surprised. "Guess even champs fall," she whispered. Amara stopped, turned slowly, and for a second, Haley saw something terrifying behind those calm eyes. Not anger, not hate. Discipline sharpened into silence. "You're right," Amara said softly. "But when I stand back up, I don't fall twice." The gym was packed again, but this time, not for class. It was Ridgeway Spirit Week, and the entire school had gathered for the friendly inter-school martial arts exhibition. Ironically, Amara was not on the list. She was still suspended. But fate, and the internet, had other plans. The viral video of her first fight had caught the attention of Coach Daniels from the city's official Muay Thai youth team. He had come all the way from downtown to see the girl everyone was talking about. "Where's the black girl?" he asked bluntly when he arrived, his voice carrying across the gym. Students turned, whispering. Haley froze mid-laugh. Principal Hayes cleared his throat. "She's currently under disciplinary review." Coach Daniels frowned. "Review? She's got perfect form. You people realize talent like that doesn't walk through your doors twice?" The murmurs spread like wildfire, and then, as if on cue, the doors opened. Amara stepped in. She wasn't wearing her school uniform this time. Instead, a simple gray tracksuit, gloves hanging from her wrist, and a calm that cut through the noise like a blade. Every head turned. Every whisper died. Haley's smile flickered. "You're not supposed to be here," she hissed. Amara didn't reply. She simply looked toward Coach Daniels. He studied her for a long moment. The posture, the stillness, the focus. And then smiled faintly. "Tell me, kid, ever fight for something that really mattered?" Amara's answer was quiet, but clear. "Yes, sir, every day." The gym crowd shifted uneasily as Coach Daniels turned to Principal Hayes. "I want her to spar. 1 round. No harm, no fouls. Let's see what she's got." Hayes hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. Haley's eyes gleamed. "Against me?" The coach raised an eyebrow. "You sure, kid?" She grinned, confident, cruel. "Oh, I'm sure." A circle formed. Phones rose into the air. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. The rematch that had started it all. Amara slipped her gloves on. Slow, deliberate. Haley bounced on her toes, full of bravado. "Try not to cry this time," Haley whispered. Amara didn't respond. Her focus was razor-sharp. Breathing slow, centered, balanced. Every muscle remembered. Every lesson from her father echoed inside her head. Never fight angry. "Fight clear!" The whistle blew. Haley charged first, wild, fast, careless. Her kick sliced through the air. But Amara wasn't there. She stepped aside, pivoting with perfect balance. Haley swung again. A right hook. Amara ducked under it and landed a low sweep, sending Haley stumbling. The crowd gasped. Haley's fury doubled. She lunged again, this time trying the same move that started it all. A knee aimed straight for Amara's face. But before it could connect, Amara caught her leg mid-air, twisting, stepping forward, and froze. She could have dropped her. She could have humiliated her in front of everyone. But she didn't. Instead, she let go. The gym went silent. Amara stepped back, eyes steady. "This isn't a fight, Haley," she said softly. "It's a lesson," Haley blinked, thrown off. "A lesson? You think you're better than me?" Amara shook her head. "No, I think you've never had to learn what pain costs." Haley screamed and swung again. Reckless. Amara dodged, sidestepped, and in a single fluid motion disarmed her, took her balance, and pinned her lightly to the mat. No violence. No anger. Just control. The whistle blew. The crowd erupted. Not in mockery, not in laughter, but in stunned applause. Coach Daniels stepped forward, expression unreadable. Then he nodded once. Perfect technique. Controlled, respectful. You just turned a fight into a lesson in discipline. He turned to Principal Hayes. "This girl belongs in a championship ring. Not detention." The principal exhaled, torn between pride and embarrassment. "Amara, I think we've made a mistake." But before he could say more, Mrs. Langford, Haley's mother, stormed forward. "This is outrageous. You're letting her humiliate my daughter again?" Amara turned, calm as ever. "Ma'am, I didn't humiliate anyone. I stopped when I could have kept going." Mrs. Langford faltered. Haley, still on the mat, looked up, something new flickering in her eyes. Not hatred, not anger, respect, or maybe realization. Later that afternoon, as the gym emptied, Amara sat on the bleachers, unwrapping her gloves. Coach Daniels joined her. "You've got something rare, kid. Control, heart. You fight like someone who's already seen too much." Amara smiled faintly. "Maybe I have," he nodded. "How'd you learn?" She paused, glancing toward the window where sunlight cut across the floor. "My dad taught me." Back home, he trained fighters, until one night, he didn't come back. They said it was an accident, but I knew better. The coach's expression softened. "I'm sorry," she shrugged gently. "He always said, strength isn't in what you hit. It's in what you can hold back." Coach Daniels smiled. "Smart man," then he stood. "I want you on my team, Amara. The city championships start next month. Think about it." She looked up, a spark of something fierce and beautiful lighting her face. "Thank you, sir. I will." Outside the gym, Haley waited by the door. Bruised ego, swollen pride, but strangely quiet. When Amara walked past, Haley called out, "Hey!" "Wait!" Amara turned. Haley hesitated, then sighed. "You could have hurt me back there." "You didn't? Why?" Amara tilted her head. "Because hurting you doesn't make me stronger. Forgiving you does." Haley blinked, caught off guard. "I don't get you." "You will," Amara said softly. "One day," and then she walked away, calm, composed, and undefeated. That night, the viral clip hit the internet again. Black girl stands her ground. Teaches bully a lesson in respect. But for Amara, it wasn't about fame. It wasn't about revenge. It was about peace. The kind her father always spoke of. As she stood by her window, city lights glowing in the distance, she whispered to herself, "Never fight angry. Fight clear." And this time, she finally understood what it meant. The sun had barely risen over Ridgeway High when Amara returned to the gym. This time, not as a student who had been doubted, but as an athlete who had earned her place. The morning light spilled through the tall glass windows, catching the dust in the air like glitter, and the faint echo of gloves hitting bags filled the silence. It had been 3 weeks since the fight, the one everyone still talked about. Since then, everything had changed. The suspension had been lifted. Her story had spread, not just through the school, but through the city. And when Coach Daniels's invitation became official, the Ridgeway board itself approved her as a state-level contender. Still, Amara hadn't changed who she was. She walked into the same gym, in the same gray hoodie, tied her hair up, and began her usual warm-up. But this time, the room greeted her with quiet respect. Haley was already there, sitting on the edge of the mat. Her eyes lifted when Amara entered. No smirk, no mockery, just a hesitant nod. Amara nodded back. For a moment, the air between them wasn't heavy anymore. Haley stood. "Hey, I heard you made the team," Amara smiled faintly. "Yeah, first match is next month," Haley swallowed, then added quietly, "You're gonna win." The words were simple, but they meant everything. Forgiveness had found its place. That weekend, Amara stood in the middle of the city's biggest arena. Lights blazing, the crowd roaring. She wore her father's old wrist wrap, the fabric faded but sacred. On the sidelines, Coach Daniels gave her a firm nod. "Remember, Amara, control the storm." She closed her eyes, hearing her father's voice echo in her mind. "Never fight angry. Fight clear." When the bell rang, the sound cut through the air like lightning. The opponent was older, taller, stronger, but Amara was faster, calmer, grounded. Every move flowed like water, measured, clean, unbroken. The fight lasted 3 rounds. In the final seconds, she dodged a punch, pivoted, and landed a flawless counter. Not brutal, not aggressive, but decisive. The crowd erupted when her arm was raised. Amara didn't smile in triumph. She smiled in peace. Because this victory wasn't about beating someone else. It was about becoming someone else. Stronger, kinder, clearer. After the match, she found Haley waiting near the locker room with a bouquet of white lilies. "They're for you," Haley said awkwardly. "My mom helped me pick them." Amara took them gently. "Thank you," Haley shifted uncomfortably. I wanted to say sorry. For everything. I didn't understand what you were carrying." Amara looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. "Pain teaches us differently. You had yours. I had mine." Haley's eyes glistened. "You really forgave me, didn't you?" Amara smiled softly. "That's what my dad would have wanted." They stood there. 2 girls once divided by hate, now joined by something far stronger. Later that night, Amara sat by her window again, the city lights glowing like small galaxies outside. She placed the lilies beside her father's picture and whispered, "I did it, Dad, just like you said. Fight clear." And as the city hummed beneath her, she realized something powerful. Strength isn't proven in the fights we win. It's proven in the ones we walk away from with peace still in our hearts. If you enjoyed this story and felt inspired by Amara's journey, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories like this. Your support means everything to us, and it helps us bring more stories of courage, kindness, and redemption to life.